ages 75 to 85. If you still do these 6 things, you're truly one of a kind. There is a fundamental truth about aging that, for far too long, has remained obscured, shrouded by conventional wisdom and, paradoxically, often by the very medical establishment entrusted with guiding us through life's later stages. For many decades, the prevailing narrative has subtly yet firmly imparted a message to seniors: gradually ease up, embrace a slower pace of life, and, with a sense of resignation, accept what has been presented as the inevitable, gentle slide into decline that is presumed to accompany advancing years. This counsel, while appearing benign and well-intentioned on the surface, has perhaps inadvertently stifled the immense potential for vibrant, independent living that can extend robustly and joyously well into one's later decades, past 75 and even beyond 85. However, what if this widely accepted advice, deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness and often passed down through generations, is not only profoundly incomplete, but, in fact, diametrically opposed to the most astonishing and transformative longevity research that has emerged over the past decade? What if the true secrets to retaining sharpness of mind, strength of body, and an unwavering sense of independence at 75, 80, or even 85 years old are not hidden within complex prescriptions, cutting-edge, expensive medical interventions, or even revolutionary biotechnologies? What if, instead, they are found within a set of remarkably simple, yet profoundly powerful daily habits? Practices that many individuals within this very age group have perhaps unknowingly relinquished, overlooked, or simply underestimated. As Dr. William, my professional journey has spanned more than 2 decades, during which I have had the unique privilege of working intimately with thousands of patients, predominantly within the 75 to 85 age bracket. Through these extensive clinical encounters and countless personal stories shared, I have observed a compelling, unmistakable pattern, a profound truth that the latest scientific research is now not merely confirming, but is resoundingly amplifying with every new discovery. The individuals who navigate the aging process with unparalleled grace, enduring vitality, and an inspiring zest for life are not those who have retreated from engagement. They are the ones who still confidently drive themselves to appointments, their minds clear and their senses sharp, who tend their beloved gardens with a vigor that belies their years, who effortlessly recall every grandchild's birthday, their memory a testament to enduring cognitive function, without the slightest need for a written reminder. These remarkable individuals consistently exhibit a very specific, interconnected constellation of behaviors, a tapestry of daily choices that distinguishes them. Crucially, these are not behaviors predicated on costly supplements, intricate diets requiring exhaustive meal preparation, or grueling, high-impact exercise regimes. They are, quite simply, deliberate choices, conscious actions woven seamlessly into the fabric of daily life that collectively unlock an extraordinary potential for prolonged independence, enhanced quality of life, and a sustained sense of purpose. This profound insight is far from being merely anecdotal. It is rigorously substantiated by compelling scientific inquiry from leading institutions worldwide. Consider, for instance, a landmark study meticulously conducted and subsequently published by the esteemed Stanford Center on Longevity. This extensive research initiative meticulously tracked over 4,200 adults, ranging in age from 70 to 90 years, for an impressive and comprehensive period of 12 years. The revelations gleaned from this long-term observation were nothing short of striking, offering a powerful and much-needed counter-narrative to the conventional, often limiting wisdom of, quote, slowing down. What the researchers conclusively discovered was that participants who consistently maintained just 4 or more of a particular set of specific daily habits were an astonishing 61% less likely to experience what gerontologists refer to as accelerated functional decline. This phrase, accelerated functional decline, refers to the rapid and often devastating loss of independence that tragically precipitates the move of far too many seniors into assisted living facilities, often long before such a transition is truly necessary or desired. A 61% reduction in this critical risk is not a trivial statistical anomaly. It represents a monumental and life-altering difference in lived experience. It embodies the profound distinction between orchestrating your life on your own terms, maintaining personal autonomy and choice over your daily existence, and finding yourself compelled to live it according to someone else's schedule and dictates. This percentage signifies not just a statistical advantage, but a tangible, life-altering shift towards sustained freedom, unwavering self-determination, and a higher quality of life. Before we delve deeper into this transformative list of habits, I want to gently encourage you to stay with me through its entirety. I understand the modern inclination to seek quick answers, to skim for highlights, and you might be tempted to jump ahead, particularly as we approach the most impactful revelations. But I urge you to resist that impulse, especially concerning the forthcoming revelation that represents the number one habit. The number one habit on this list, universally identified by cutting-edge research as the single most powerful of all six, is something that, surprisingly, almost no one discusses. Its profound impact is entirely disconnected from traditional notions of diet or exercise that typically dominate health conversations, even among medical professionals. In fact, most cardiologists, despite their commendable focus on holistic health, rarely even broach this topic during routine checkups. Yet, the cutting-edge research emanating from globally recognized institutions such as Johns Hopkins and the University of Edinburgh strongly suggests that this singular habit may, in fact, be the greatest predictor of sustained cognitive and physical independence after the age of 75. Therefore, I implore you, remain with me until the very end, for this one insight alone holds the potential to fundamentally reshape how you envision and approach the entirety of your remaining life, offering a paradigm shift in understanding what truly preserves and enhances vitality in your later years. As a physician deeply committed to the well-being of the senior community, I cherish the profound connections formed and the stories shared within this space. While this format doesn't allow for immediate interactive comments, I carry with me the collective wisdom and experiences of countless individuals who have engaged with these topics, recognizing that every personal journey contributes to our shared understanding of healthy aging. The insights derived from these exchanges, both direct and indirect, continuously enrich my perspective and inform the depth with which I present this crucial information. Now, let's begin our countdown, moving from number 6 to the ultimate number 1. We start with an aspect of daily life that, at first glance, appears almost too rudimentary, too simple to be genuinely life-changing. Yet, the robust scientific evidence underpinning its profound importance is anything but simple, revealing layers of physiological complexity and an astonishing impact on the aging body and mind. Drinking water strategically, not just casually. The widespread misunderstanding surrounding proper hydration after the age of 75 represents a critical area, where many individuals err significantly, often without realizing the profound consequences. Most people mistakenly believe that their body's hydration needs and the intricate physiological mechanisms that regulate fluid balance operate in the same efficient manner as they did at 45. This assumption is unequivocally incorrect and, indeed, dangerously misleading. The physiological realities of aging introduce a complex array of subtle yet dramatic changes that fundamentally alter how the body processes, utilizes, and retains water. After the age of 70, for instance, your kidneys, which are absolutely vital organs responsible for filtering waste products and regulating the delicate fluid balance within your body, experience an approximate 40% reduction in their filtering efficiency. This diminished capacity means they are significantly less adept at conserving water, leading to a more rapid and often unnoticed loss of fluids from the system. Furthermore, your body's intrinsic thirst signals, those intuitive prompts that tell you it's time to drink, become significantly blunted with age. This means you can genuinely become severely dehydrated without experiencing the familiar, urgent sensation of thirst, creating a dangerous biological disconnect that frequently goes unnoticed until significant symptoms manifest. Compounding these issues, your blood's crucial ability to efficiently transport oxygen and essential nutrients to your muscles and, critically, to your brain, declines markedly with every percentage point of fluid loss. To fully grasp the insidious nature of this, consider your bloodstream not merely as a circulatory system, but as an intricate, bustling river delivery network. constantly transporting vital supplies throughout your entire body. When this metaphorical river runs low due to chronic underhydration, the delivery trucks, your red blood cells and plasma, slow down considerably. Essential packages, such as life-giving oxygen, critical glucose for energy, and vital electrolytes, become delayed or even lost. As a result, the entire complex operation of cellular function and metabolic processes throughout your body begins to falter and break down. This analogy precisely illustrates the insidious damage that chronic mild dehydration inflicts upon the aging body, often without overt symptoms until significant, sometimes irreversible, impairment has occurred. Scientific investigation has consistently underscored the profound implications of this often overlooked habit. Research published in the European Journal of Nutrition, an extensive study involving 3,500 adults over the age of 70, yielded compelling results that should serve as a wake-up call. Participants who conscientiously maintained consistent daily hydration levels above 1.8 liters exhibited a remarkable 38% lower rate of urinary tract infections, a common, recurrent, and often debilitating issue for seniors. Furthermore, these well-hydrated individuals experienced a significant 29% reduction in falls, a critical statistic given that dehydration dramatically compromises balance, coordination, and reaction time, all vital components for effective fall prevention, which is a leading cause of injury and loss of independence in older adults. Perhaps most strikingly, these consistently hydrated individuals demonstrated significantly better scores on short-term memory tests, unequivocally highlighting water's direct and potent impact on vital cognitive function. It is crucial to remember that the brain, the command center of your entire being, is composed of approximately 75% water. Even a seemingly minor 2% drop in overall hydration can induce measurable cognitive impairment at any age, manifesting as brain fog, difficulty concentrating, or reduced mental clarity. However, after the age of 75, this effect is considerably amplified and far more detrimental. This is because your brain's inherent compensatory mechanisms, which tirelessly work to maintain optimal function, are already laboring much harder just to sustain baseline cognitive performance. Any additional stressor, such as even mild dehydration, pushes these mechanisms beyond their limits, leading to a more pronounced and rapid decline in mental acuity and overall brain health. The key differentiator that transforms simple water consumption into a powerful, transformative habit for truly exceptional seniors lies not merely in the quantity consumed, but in the intentionality and precise timing of that intake. These individuals do not merely drink water when a fleeting memory or a vague sense of dryness prompts them. They integrate it strategically into their daily rhythm, making it a non-negotiable part of their routine. Their day typically begins with consuming 12 to 16 ounces of water first thing in the morning, even before coffee, before breakfast, and before engaging in any other activity. This initial intake is paramount because the body loses a significant amount of fluid overnight through the continuous, often unnoticed processes of breathing and minor perspiration. For those over 75, this overnight fluid deficit is typically 30% higher than it was during midlife, rendering a substantial morning rehydration particularly vital to kickstart cognitive and physiological functions. Subsequently, they consistently drink a small glass of water with every meal and another mid-afternoon, ensuring a continuous, gentle replenishment throughout the day, preventing the dips that can lead to chronic mild dehydration. The synergy tip here is absolutely critical for older adults seeking to optimize their hydration. They pair their morning water intake with a small amount of sodium, not in the form of traditional, highly processed table salt, but rather a tiny pinch of high-quality sea salt or an electrolyte tablet. This nuanced addition is crucial because after the age of 75, your kidneys face increased difficulty in efficiently retaining sodium, a vital electrolyte. Without an adequate supply of this essential electrolyte, plain water tends to pass through your system without being fully absorbed into your cells, which is precisely where it is needed to facilitate cellular function, maintain fluid balance, and support nutrient transport. This strategic addition ensures that the water consumed is effectively utilized by the body at a cellular level, maximizing its restorative benefits. Consider the truly transformative case of Margaret, an 81-year-old patient from Boise, Idaho, who sought my consultation. She presented with a troubling constellation of concerning symptoms. Persistent afternoon brain fog that made her feel detached, episodes of dizziness upon standing that threatened her stability, and what she vividly described as feeling like my thinking was wrapped in cotton. Upon thorough assessment, it was clear she was not experiencing dramatic acute dehydration, but rather a pervasive state of chronic, mild underhydration, a persistent, subtle deficit that was significantly impairing her daily life and eroding her independence. The intervention we implemented was remarkably simple yet profoundly effective. We adjusted her hydration strategy, meticulously timing her water intake correctly with a small, precise electrolyte addition each morning. Just 6 weeks later, Margaret returned, her demeanor completely transformed. She enthusiastically recounted that it felt as if someone had cleaned the windows of her mind, experiencing a dramatic clarity of thought and mental sharpness she hadn't known in years. Her balance had markedly improved, and her debilitating afternoon fatigue had decreased significantly, allowing her to engage more fully with her life. This single, strategically applied habit yielded genuinely life-changing results, underscoring the immense, often underestimated, power of intentional hydration. Resistance-based movement at least twice per week. It is imperative that I clarify a persistent and widespread misunderstanding regarding this critical habit, as I encounter it constantly in my practice. When I advocate for resistance movement, I am absolutely not referring to the common image of intense gym workouts involving heavy weightlifting. While that form of exercise is undeniably beneficial for those capable and inclined, for many, it is not the universal prescription being offered here. Instead, I am speaking about any form of movement that intentionally asks your muscles to engage and work against a force, regardless of its magnitude. This could manifest as gentle resistance band exercises, utilizing light dumbbells for controlled movements that focus on form, performing wall push-ups for upper body strength, or even the seemingly mundane act of carrying groceries with a deliberate focus on muscle engagement rather than just speed. The crucial distinction lies in the principle of asking your muscles to resist and work, to generate tension and overcome a load, however small. This distinction holds enormous significance, particularly after the age of 75, due to a fundamental biological process known as anabolic resistance. Allow me to explain this complex concept in greater detail. Anabolic resistance refers to the diminished capacity of aging muscle cells to effectively respond to both protein intake and exercise stimulation. In practical, everyday terms, this means that after 75, your body requires a stronger signal, a more intentional and consistent application of resistance to maintain the same quantity and quality of muscle mass that a 50-year-old might preserve with considerably less effort. Your muscles, far from becoming inherently lazy, simply become harder to reach or activate effectively. They demand more persuasive stimulus. If you fail to consistently provide this intentional stimulus, your muscles inevitably embark on a destructive process called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the progressive and involuntary loss of muscle mass, strength, and function that occurs with aging, often accelerating dramatically after 70. Its implications are far-reaching, debilitating, and extend well beyond mere physical weakness. Extensive research from the Mayo Clinic has unequivocally linked sarcopenia to a staggering 47% increased risk of falls, which are a leading cause of injury, hospitalization, and a catastrophic loss of independence in several older adults. Furthermore, sarcopenia significantly elevates the likelihood by 53% of individuals being unable to perform basic daily tasks, such as bathing, dressing, or getting out of a chair without assistance within a mere 5 years. Crucially, sarcopenia has also been definitively correlated with a dramatically shortened overall lifespan, underscoring that maintaining muscle is not just about physical appearance or brute strength. It is a profound determinant of overall health, autonomy, and longevity itself. Conversely, the benefits of even moderate, consistent resistance training are truly astonishing and systemic. A compelling study conducted by Tufts University meticulously followed adults aged 75 to 85 who initiated a program of twice-weekly resistance training. After a remarkably short period of just 10 weeks, participants demonstrated an average 37% increase in leg strength, a vital component for maintaining mobility, preventing falls, and preserving the ability to walk unassisted. They also exhibited a significant 28% improvement in balance scores, directly reducing their risk of life-altering injuries. And here is the aspect that consistently surprises people, revealing the systemic, far-reaching impact of muscle health. These participants also showed a measurable improvement in insulin sensitivity. This is a critical physiological marker that directly influences energy levels, modulates inflammation throughout the body, and profoundly impacts cognitive function, demonstrating unequivocally that muscle acts as an endocrine organ, influencing far more than just movement and physical strength. The mitochondria within your muscle cells, which are essentially the microscopic power plants responsible for generating energy for your entire body, literally regenerate and function more efficiently when consistently stimulated by resistance exercise. Therefore, when you engage in resistance training, you are not merely building visible muscle. You are actively rebuilding and revitalizing the fundamental energy infrastructure of your entire physiological system, enhancing everything from brain function to immune response. The practical prescription for integrating this vital habit into your life is refreshingly simple and highly achievable for most seniors. Aim for 2 to 3 resistance-based sessions per week, with each session lasting between 20 to 30 minutes. The focus should be on engaging the large muscle groups of the body, specifically the legs, hips, and back, as these are foundational for maintaining mobility, stability, and overall functional strength that supports daily living. Resistance bands are an ideal tool for seniors, offering progressive resistance that can be easily adjusted to individual strength levels, all without imposing undue impact or stress on delicate joints. They provide a safe, effective, and highly accessible way to engage muscles and stimulate growth, even from the comfort of your own home. The synergy tip for maximizing the impact of resistance training is centered on optimizing protein utilization, specifically around your workout. Perform your resistance session within 30 minutes of consuming 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein. This precise timing is crucial because after the age of 75, the anabolic window, the specific period during which your muscles are most receptive and efficient at absorbing protein for repair and growth, becomes significantly shorter and less forgiving than in younger adults. In essence, the opportunity to maximize muscle repair and synthesis after exercise is fleeting, and older muscles require that protein to be available almost immediately. Therefore, timing your protein intake in close proximity to your workout is not merely an optional enhancement at your age. It is an essential strategy for ensuring that every ounce of effort you expend and every gram of protein you consume contributes optimally to muscle maintenance and rebuilding, preventing the loss of hard-earned gains. Maintaining a consistent, purposeful sleep schedule. If the information shared thus far is resonating with you, if you are gleaning insights you sincerely wish you had received years ago, I encourage you to consider how these vital truths might benefit others. Sharing such scientifically backed information can make a profound difference in the lives of those between 70 and 90 who deserve to understand their full potential for vibrant aging and sustained independence. This channel exists for one singular, unwavering purpose: to deliver seniors the often untold, scientifically validated truths about health and longevity. Insights that far too many brief medical appointments regrettably never have the opportunity to cover in sufficient depth. Now, let's return to the profoundly important subject of sleep, because this particular habit is far more intricate and demanding than the simplistic notion of merely going to bed early. After the age of 75, your body's intricate internal timekeeper, your circadian rhythm, that natural 24-hour cycle regulating sleep-wake patterns, hormone release, and body temperature, begins to undergo significant shifts and critically starts to weaken. This age-related attenuation impacts various aspects of sleep architecture in detrimental ways. For instance, your brain's production of melatonin, the crucial hormone responsible for signaling sleep onset and regulating your internal clock, decreases by approximately 70% compared to what it was at age 30. Even more critically, your slow-wave sleep, often referred to as deep sleep, which is the most profoundly physically and mentally restorative phase, diminishes by an alarming extent, often up to 80% of what you experienced in your 30s. This particular phase is especially vital because it is during slow-wave sleep that human growth hormone, HGH, is released, a powerful anabolic hormone fundamental for cellular repair, robust immune function, and the critical maintenance of muscle mass throughout the body. Without sufficient slow-wave sleep, the body struggles to repair itself, leading to systemic fatigue and vulnerability. Here's what many people, including numerous seniors, fail to fully realize. Poor sleep after 75 is not merely about experiencing a lingering feeling of tiredness or fatigue. Its implications are far more insidious and deeply impactful on long-term health, particularly for cognitive function. A groundbreaking study from the University of California, Berkeley, provided alarming insights, revealing that adults over the age of 70 who exhibited disrupted and inconsistent sleep patterns showed a staggering 68% higher accumulation of amyloid plaques in their brains. These are the very same protein aggregates that are intimately associated with the onset and progression of Alzheimer's disease. This direct link highlights the profound neurological consequences of neglecting sleep and allowing its quality to diminish. Furthermore, inadequate sleep contributes to elevated systemic inflammation, impaired glucose metabolism, and a weakened immune system, creating a cascade of health vulnerabilities. The seniors who excel at this particular habit do not merely attempt to sleep more, rather, they prioritize and meticulously cultivate consistent, high-quality sleep patterns. Their approach is characterized by rigorous discipline and unwavering attention to environmental and behavioral factors. They adhere to a remarkably consistent bedtime, going to bed within the same 30-minute window every single night. Equally important, they wake up at the same time every morning, steadfastly, including weekends, thereby reinforcing a stable and robust circadian rhythm that helps regulate all their bodily functions. They meticulously maintain a cool bedroom environment, ideally between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. This is crucial because body temperature regulation during sleep becomes significantly less efficient after 75, and a cooler ambient temperature actively supports the attainment and maintenance of the deep, restorative, slow-wave sleep that the aging brain so desperately needs for repair and memory consolidation. Furthermore, they conscientiously avoid screens, be it televisions, tablets, or smartphones, for at least 60 minutes before bed. This isn't solely due to the disruptive effects of blue light emissions on melatonin production, but more significantly because the mental stimulation inherent in screen engagement keeps the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center, actively engaged. Research from Harvard Medical School indicates that this cognitive stimulation can delay sleep onset by an average of 47 minutes in adults over 70, effectively robbing them of precious sleep time and deepening the sleep deficit. The synergy tip for optimizing your consistent sleep schedule involves incorporating a simple yet powerful practice. Pair your regular bedtime routine with 10 minutes of slow, deliberate diaphragmatic breathing. This specific breathing technique, which involves deep belly breaths rather than shallow chest breathing, serves to actively engage and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's crucial rest and repair mode. Scientific research has unequivocally demonstrated that practicing diaphragmatic breathing before bed can reduce nighttime cortisol levels, the body's primary stress hormone, by an impressive margin of up to 22% by effectively dampening the body's fight or flight stress response. This practice makes it significantly easier for aging adults to both reach and sustain the vital slow-wave sleep phase, thereby enhancing the overall restorative quality of their nightly rest and ensuring their brain and body undergo essential repair. Eating protein in a deliberate, distributed pattern. This particular aspect of nutrition is where I routinely observe one of the most dangerous and pervasive misconceptions among seniors, a misunderstanding that genuinely concerns me deeply as a physician. The deeply entrenched yet entirely false notion that you inherently require less protein as you age is not merely inaccurate. It is quite possibly one of the most harmful pieces of nutritional folklore ever to have been passed down through generations. The scientific truth, in fact, is the exact opposite of this pervasive myth. After the age of 75, owing to the phenomenon of anabolic resistance that I discussed earlier, your body actually demands a substantially greater amount of dietary protein. Specifically, 50 to 75% more per pound of body weight than a healthy 30-year-old would require to achieve the very same muscle maintenance effect. This heightened need is a direct result of your muscles becoming less efficient at utilizing protein for repair and growth. Despite this heightened physiological need, the vast majority of seniors I encounter in my practice are consuming, on average, only half the protein their bodies critically require to prevent muscle loss and maintain overall health. This pervasive deficit often stems from a natural decrease in appetite that frequently accompanies aging, coupled with a tendency to gravitate towards high-carbohydrate, softer foods, which often feel easier to prepare and consume. This dietary pattern, however, consistently leads to a profound and detrimental protein shortfall. The consequences of this chronic protein deficit are far-reaching and well-documented, impacting multiple facets of health and independence. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, an extensive study encompassing over 2,700 adults aged 70 to 85, delivered compelling findings. Those participants who conscientiously consumed at least 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, critically distributed across 3 or more meals, consistently maintained significantly more muscle mass. Furthermore, they experienced a striking 41% lower rate of hospitalization due to fall-related injuries, unequivocally underscoring the protective role of robust musculature in preventing severe health events. Beyond physical strength, these individuals also exhibited markedly better immune responses to common infections such as influenza and pneumonia, highlighting protein's vital and often underestimated role in maintaining immune system integrity and resilience against illness. To put it simply, think of protein not merely as a food group, but as the essential bricks that your body uses to meticulously rebuild and repair itself on a continuous 24/7 cycle. Every single night as you sleep, and indeed throughout the day, your body engages in a complex and energy-intensive process of breaking down old, damaged tissue and diligently replacing it with new, healthier structures. Without a sufficient and consistent supply of these fundamental bricks, without an adequate and consistent intake of high-quality protein, this vital reconstruction process remains perpetually incomplete. Over the span of months and years, this accumulating structural deficit eventually becomes catastrophic, leading to systemic weakening, increased vulnerability to injury, and a profound loss of functional capacity. The practical and highly effective approach to address this critical need is straightforward and easily integrated into daily life. Aim to consume between 25 to 35 grams of protein at each of your 3 main meals. This translates roughly to 4 to 5 ounces of high-quality protein sources, such as lean chicken, fish like salmon or cod, eggs, Greek yogurt, or various legumes per meal. The reason that protein distribution across meals holds such paramount importance after 75 is rooted in muscle physiology. Aging muscles possess a finite capacity to utilize protein for synthesis at any single sitting, typically maxing out at approximately 35 to 40 grams. Beyond this threshold, any excess protein consumed in a single meal is predominantly oxidized for immediate energy, rather than being efficiently channeled towards muscle repair and growth. Therefore, by deliberately spreading out your protein intake throughout the day, you ensure that every gram counts, maximizing its anabolic effect and optimizing muscle maintenance and rebuilding, rather than wasting valuable nutrients. The transformative power of this habit is vividly illustrated by James, a 78-year-old gentleman from Scottsdale, Arizona, who came to me after his concerned daughter noticed he had lost nearly 18 pounds. His previous doctor had dismissed this as normal age-related weight loss, which, while common, is far from normal and often indicative of sarcopenia. However, it was far from normal. James was not losing fat, but critically, he was losing muscle. His grip strength, a remarkably powerful and independent predictor of overall longevity and health in older adults, had plummeted to the bottom 15th percentile for his age group, signaling a significant underlying issue that threatened his independence. We immediately restructured his meals, placing a deliberate emphasis on consistent and adequate protein intake, distributed strategically throughout his day. A mere 12 weeks later, James had regained an impressive 11 pounds of lean muscle mass. His grip strength had rebounded dramatically, now resting comfortably in the 60th percentile, indicative of substantial improvement in his functional capacity. With a beaming smile and unmistakable pride, he recounted that he had, for the first time in 2 years, carried all of his own groceries from the car into his home, a seemingly small act that represented a colossal victory for his independence, self-efficacy, and overall quality of life. The synergy tip for optimizing protein utilization and structural integrity is to pair your protein-rich meals with a small amount of vitamin C, sourced from foods like an orange, some colorful bell pepper, or a splash of fresh lemon juice. This pairing is crucial because vitamin C is an indispensable cofactor for collagen synthesis, the complex biochemical process by which the body creates collagen. Collagen, the most abundant protein in the body, works in powerful tandem with dietary protein to maintain not only muscle integrity, but also the strength of connective tissues, the health of joint cartilage, and the overall resilience and elasticity of skin. Collectively, these elements are fundamental in determining how effectively and robustly your body holds itself together, literally and figuratively, after the age of 75, underpinning structural integrity, functional mobility, and overall physical resilience. Daily intentional social engagement. I mentioned earlier in this discussion that one of the top 2 habits would likely come as a significant surprise, and for many, this is precisely that habit. It often strikes people as too soft, too emotionally nuanced, or too intangible to be categorized as a hard medical recommendation alongside diet and exercise. However, I want to state with absolute clarity and conviction, the body of research concerning social engagement and its profound, measurable impact on longevity and health in adults over 75 is anything but soft. On the contrary, it represents some of the most robust, rigorously conducted, and highly replicable science in the entire field of modern gerontology, with physiological and neurological evidence that is overwhelmingly compelling. To underscore this crucial point, consider a staggering study conducted by Brigham Young University, which meticulously analyzed data from over 300,000 adults spanning multiple decades. Their groundbreaking findings revealed that chronic social isolation carries a mortality risk, the probability of premature death, equivalent to the risk associated with smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Let me reiterate that profoundly alarming statistic. Being chronically socially isolated is as dangerous to your lifespan and overall health as habitually smoking a pack of 15 cigarettes every single day. This is not a casual comparison. It is a direct, data-driven assessment of risk for adults, especially those beyond the age of 75. The detrimental consequences of social disconnection extend even further into the realm of cognitive and physical decline. The National Institute on Aging, a leading authority on geriatric health, has conclusively found that persistent loneliness dramatically accelerates cognitive decline by an alarming rate of up to 64%. Furthermore, it significantly increases the risk of developing dementia by a substantial 41%. Beyond these severe cognitive impacts, social isolation markedly elevates systemic inflammatory markers in the blood, specifically interleukin-6 and C-reactive protein. These inflammatory agents are not merely indicators. They actively and directly damage cardiovascular tissue, compromise the vital functions of the immune system, and disrupt crucial neural connectivity within the brain, creating a cascade of detrimental health effects that accelerate aging processes throughout the body. Herein lies the profound physiological reason why meaningful social engagement operates at such a deep and fundamental level within our biology. Engaging in genuine, intentional social interaction, and it is crucial to distinguish this from passive screen time or merely being in the same room as someone while both are engrossed in television, triggers the release of oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone or bonding hormone. This release of oxytocin has a cascading positive effect throughout the body and brain. It actively suppresses cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, thereby reducing chronic physiological stress that otherwise wears down systems. It further works to reduce systemic inflammation, countering the damaging effects mentioned earlier. And critically, it activates the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive functioning center, in ways that maintain neural pathways as dense, flexible, and active. Think of your social brain in much the same way you would a physical muscle. The complex network of neurons that fire vigorously during genuine conversation, during moments of shared laughter, throughout thoughtful debate, and during periods of deep emotional connection are precisely the same neurons that are instrumental in maintaining your memory function, honing your decision-making abilities, and preserving your fundamental sense of self and identity. When these vital neurons are allowed to go quiet for extended periods, for weeks or even months at a time due to a lack of engagement, they begin a detrimental process known as pruning, where unused connections are shed, diminishing the brain's functional capacity. After the age of 75, neuroplasticity, your brain's inherent ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections, has already undergone a significant age-related decline, making these unused and pruned pathways far more challenging to restore and reactivate without consistent effort. The practical prescription for integrating this habit, while not inherently complicated, demands unwavering intentionality. The goal is to aim for at least one meaningful in-person social interaction every single day. A phone call can certainly count, provided it involves genuine, engaged conversation rather than a perfunctory exchange of pleasantries. Actively participating in a community group that aligns with your interests, regularly attending a faith gathering, finding a consistent walking partner, or scheduling a consistent lunch or coffee with a neighbor are all excellent avenues for fostering connection. What unequivocally does not count in terms of neurological benefit is passive social presence, merely being physically near people without active engagement. For the stimulus to be truly effective, you must be actively thinking, actively responding, genuinely laughing, thoughtfully disagreeing, and sincerely sharing. That authentic, reciprocal engagement is the precise neurological stimulus that keeps your brain structurally intact, functionally robust, and cognitively agile. The deeply moving story of Dorothy, an 83-year-old from Charleston, South Carolina, vividly illustrates the profound impact of this habit. After losing her husband of 54 years, Dorothy withdrew almost entirely from social life, isolating herself in a profound state of grief and detachment. Her concerned daughter brought her to see me 8 months later. Cognitively, Dorothy had declined measurably on standard assessments in less than a year, a startling and rapid deterioration that was distressing to witness. Our intervention did not involve altering her medications, as her physical health was stable. Instead, we meticulously constructed a tailored social schedule for her, designed to gradually reintroduce meaningful connections. This included joining a weekly book club, initiating a daily 20-minute phone call with a rotating list of cherished friends and family, and committing to a twice-weekly volunteer shift at her local library, where she could interact with people of all ages. 8 months after implementing this renewed social engagement, her cognitive scores had not merely stabilized, they had returned to near baseline levels, a truly remarkable improvement for someone her age. Her systemic inflammation markers had significantly dropped, and her daughter, with tears in her eyes, told me that Dorothy seemed like herself again, regaining her sparkle and engagement with life. This profound transformation underscores a critical truth. Social engagement is not a luxury for individuals aged 75 and beyond. It is an absolute biological necessity, as vital and fundamental as proper nutrition and physical activity. The synergy tip for maximizing the benefits of social engagement is to combine it with physical movement whenever feasible. This could involve taking a leisurely walk with a friend, participating in a gentle exercise class with others, or even engaging in gardening activities alongside a neighbor or family member. Research from the University of British Columbia has conclusively shown that the act of combining social interaction with even light physical activity produces a powerful synergistic effect on BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This combined boost in BDNF is significantly greater than what either behavior could achieve in isolation. BDNF is often poetically referred to as fertilizer for your brain cells, as it actively promotes the growth, survival, and differentiation of new neurons and synapses, effectively strengthening the brain's internal architecture. Consequently, you want to cultivate and encourage as much of this crucial neurotrophic factor as your body can possibly produce. And combining social interaction with movement is a potent way to do so. Daily purposeful cognitive challenge. And now we arrive at number 1, the habit that fewer than a mere 12% of adults over the age of 75 consistently maintain, and which researchers at Johns Hopkins have boldly proclaimed to be the most underutilized longevity intervention available to aging adults without a prescription. This is the habit that often unlocks the highest levels of sustained independence and cognitive vitality. When I speak of daily, purposeful cognitive challenge, it is imperative to distinguish this from passive intellectual activities such as leisurely crossword puzzles or general reading. While both of these pursuits certainly possess inherent value and contribute to general well-being, I am referring to something far more specific, significantly more demanding, and ultimately far more transformative in its impact on the aging brain. This habit entails the deliberate daily practice of actively learning something genuinely new, be it a complex skill, an entirely unfamiliar language, a musical instrument, a challenging board game, intricate strategies, or a novel form of creative expression like coding or painting. The defining characteristic of this learning is that it must intentionally force your brain into a state of productive discomfort, a zone where it is challenged to forge entirely new connections, create new neural pathways, rather than merely retreading familiar, well-worn pathways. The profound reason why this particular habit occupies the pinnacle of this list lies in the unique neurobiological shifts that occur after the age of 75. At this advanced stage of life, your brain begins to preferentially rely on established neural pathways, those deeply grooved circuits of familiarity that it has used countless times. It becomes extraordinarily efficient at executing tasks and retrieving information that it has processed countless times before. But concomitantly, it becomes extraordinarily reluctant to invest the considerable metabolic energy required to build entirely new neural connections. This preference for the familiar is not a character flaw or a sign of weakness. Rather, it represents an inherent survival mechanism. The aging brain, in an effort to conserve precious metabolic energy, instinctively favors the known and the predictable, optimizing for efficiency over novelty. However, and here lies the critical problem, this very preference for the familiar is also the precise mechanism by which cognitive reserve is gradually depleted. Cognitive reserve can be understood as your brain's inherent resilience buffer, its remarkable capacity to compensate for age-related structural changes such as neuronal loss or subtle brain atrophy, and yet still continue to function at a high effective level. To use a helpful analogy, think of cognitive reserve like the random access memory, RAM, in a computer. The more RAM, or cognitive reserve, your computer brain possesses, the more damage or age-related wear and tear it can absorb before you begin to experience overt symptoms of cognitive decline. Compelling research from the University of Edinburgh's Lothian Birth Cohort Study, a monumental longitudinal project that meticulously tracked over 1,000 adults from their 70s into their late 80s, yielded profoundly significant results. Participants who consistently engaged in novel, genuinely challenging cognitive activities for at least 30 minutes per day showed a remarkable 47% slower rate of brain atrophy on MRI scans, indicating a tangible preservation of brain volume and structural integrity. Furthermore, these individuals maintained significantly better processing speed and episodic memory, the memory of personal experiences and events, compared to their less cognitively active counterparts. Most strikingly, they were 38% less likely to receive a dementia diagnosis over the following decade, unequivocally underscoring the protective and preventive power of active, challenging learning. A separate, equally important study, the Rush Memory and Aging Project, echoed these findings, demonstrating that seniors who characterized their daily lives as intellectually engaging exhibited brain function equivalent to adults 10 years younger on standardized neurological assessments. The underlying mechanism driving these extraordinary benefits is neuroplasticity, your brain's innate ability to reorganize itself by constantly forming new neural connections and strengthening existing ones. While it is true that neuroplasticity does experience an age-related decline, it is crucial to understand that it never completely disappears. The human brain retains a remarkable capacity for meaningful structural change and adaptation well into the 80s and even beyond, but crucially, only if it is consistently provided with sufficient and appropriate stimulus. Novel learning, by its very nature, provides precisely that essential stimulus, forcing the brain to adapt and grow. The specific types of novel learning are particularly impactful. Learning a new language, for instance, has been scientifically shown to simultaneously activate 5 distinct regions of the brain, engaging multiple cognitive processes at once, including memory, attention, problem solving, and auditory processing. Studies from the American Academy of Neurology have demonstrated that bilingualism, or the active pursuit of a new language, can delay the onset of dementia by an impressive average of 4.5 years. Similarly, learning to play a musical instrument is an incredibly potent cognitive challenge, as it uniquely engages fine motor control, complex auditory processing, memory encoding and retrieval, and emotional regulation, all in a highly coordinated and synchronized manner that few other activities can replicate. Even seemingly simpler tasks, such as learning to cook an entirely new cuisine from scratch, offer meaningful cognitive challenge because they necessitate reading and interpreting instructions, sequencing multiple steps, maintaining sensory attention, adapting to new ingredients, and employing fine motor skills in an unfamiliar context. The practical approach to integrating this habit into your life is both simple and strategic. Choose one genuinely new skill every 3 to 4 months, and then dedicate at least 20 to 30 minutes per day to actively learning it. The key word here is actively. Merely watching someone else skillfully play guitar on YouTube while potentially entertaining does not constitute learning guitar. However, sitting with an instrument in your hands, diligently struggling through a new chord progression, making mistakes, and patiently correcting them, that is active learning. That struggle, that initial state of productive discomfort where your brain feels challenged, is precisely where the profound neurological benefit resides. It is the cognitive equivalent of resistance training for your muscles. The resistance itself is the very point, the catalyst for growth and resilience. Robert, a 79-year-old from Portland, Oregon, embodied the necessity of this challenge. After a distinguished 40-year career as a civil engineer, he retired, and by his own candid admission, spent the first 3 years of his retirement doing very little that genuinely challenged his mind beyond familiar routines. He came to see me after noticing an increasing difficulty recalling names and struggling to follow complex conversations, a deeply frustrating experience for someone who had once thrived on intellectual rigor. His MRI scans showed age-appropriate changes, nothing acutely alarming. But his cognitive reserve scores were lower than I would have ideally liked, indicating a vulnerability. My prescription for him was elegantly simple, yet profoundly impactful. Pick something he had always harbored a desire to learn and commit to doing it every single day. He chose oil painting, an art form he had never once attempted in his life, which guaranteed genuine novelty. He readily admitted he was terrible at first, a testament to the genuine novelty and difficulty of the challenge, precisely what his brain needed. 18 months later, a remarkable transformation had occurred. He had completed 23 paintings, had joined a local art group, which simultaneously addressed habit number 2, social engagement, and his follow-up cognitive assessments revealed significant improvement in 3 out of 5 measured domains of cognitive function. Crucially, this was not mere maintenance. It was undeniable improvement at the age of 79, a powerful testament to the brain's enduring capacity for neuroplasticity when provided with the right stimulus. The synergy tip to amplify the benefits of daily cognitive challenge involves integrating omega-3 fatty acid intake, specifically DHA. DHA, or docosahexaenoic acid, is primarily found in fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, or can be supplemented through high-quality fish oil. DHA is the principal structural fat component of brain cell membranes, playing a critical role in neuronal health, fluidity, and communication. Research from the renowned Framingham Heart Study has consistently demonstrated that adults with higher circulating DHA levels exhibit significantly better neuroplasticity responses to cognitive training. In simpler terms, DHA effectively helps your brain absorb and consolidate the benefits of what you are actively learning, acting as the rich fertilizer beneath the seed of new knowledge, enabling it to take root and flourish more effectively and efficiently, solidifying new pathways. All scientific references and detailed sources for everything discussed in this extensive video are meticulously documented and available in the description below this content. I strongly encourage you to take the time to read them. to share them with your primary care physician, and to engage in an informed, proactive conversation about what is truly right for your specific health situation and personal goals. Now, allow me to conclude with a message that truly comes from the heart. After sitting across from enough patients within the 75 to 85 age range, I have come to profoundly understand that this particular period of life is far too often erroneously treated as a mere countdown, a slow winding down towards an inevitable end, rather than being embraced as a vibrant, dynamic continuation of one's journey. It is unequivocally not a countdown. The compelling research and practical insights I have shared with you today collectively point to a profound truth that modern medicine is only now beginning to fully appreciate. That the human body and mind, even at 75, at 80, at 85 years old, retain a remarkable, stubborn, and often underestimated capacity for resilience, for growth, and for sustained vitality. This capacity exists not in spite of age, but rather in dialogue with it, leveraging the wisdom and experience that comes with years of life lived. The 6 powerful habits we have thoroughly discussed today: strategic hydration, consistent resistance-based movement, purposeful and consistent sleep, deliberate and distributed protein intake, daily intentional social connection, and engaging in purposeful cognitive challenge, are not designed to turn back the hands of the clock. Their true purpose is far more profound and empowering. They are about making the most extraordinary and meaningful possible use of the invaluable time the clock still has left. These habits are about carrying your own groceries with strength and confidence, effortlessly remembering every single one of your grandchildren's names, driving yourself to your own appointments with autonomy and independence, and laughing until your eyes water during a joyous dinner with someone who truly matters to you. That, in its most authentic and empowering form, is what genuine independence truly looks like. That, in its most profound and resonant sense, is what quality of life authentically means. And I promise you, with every fiber of my being, that I have witnessed this transformative power with my own eyes in countless patients. Individuals who were previously told, often resignedly, that there was simply nothing left to optimize. It is never, ever too late to begin this journey towards a more vibrant, independent, and fulfilling life. The potential for growth and improvement remains, waiting to be unleashed within you. This channel exists to bring you meticulously researched, science-backed, and senior-specific health information that I genuinely believe holds the potential to add not just years, but crucially, quality years to your precious life. The engaged and thoughtful community that has gathered here, sharing their own clock experiences and seeking knowledge, is a testament to the profound desire for a life lived with vitality and purpose. That, unequivocally, is entirely because of each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next one. Take genuinely good care of yourself, because you are unequivocally worth every single ounce of effort.